Okay, I realize I need to start making some pro eighth house propaganda because it is important for people to see the positive parts of having planets in the eighth house, having eighth housers in your life, or having eighth house synastry in your relationships. I promise that when it's aligned or benefic, as we say in the astrology community, it's one of the most beautiful experiences that human existence has to offer. I said in a previous video that eighth housers offer others something intangible and invaluable. And it's usually because our connection to our spiritual senses allows us to see things that people who are too focused on the material, which is most people, can't see. Eighth housers have an ability to look beyond the surface and penetrate deep down into the soul of someone or see the soul of a situation or of a given environment. Beneath the masks and bluster and bravado to perceive people for who they really are and what they really want out of life or what sort of internal resource they need to be their best, most authentic selves. We can pinpoint people's unspoken needs or unexpressed wants. And at that level, it's probably not a fancy car or a bag or even a baddie. It's usually something like a sense of safety or even confidence, or to be affirmed for their unique talents, or to just be seen for something that the rest of the world overlooks, ignores, disregards, or tries to diminish in some way. One of the reasons people can get so obsessed with eighth housers is because we're able to bring light to that precious part of people that they feel like they've had to keep in the dark. We tend to those unspoken needs, and that is, again, invaluable. It's rare for most people to come across someone like that or to feel known and seen in that way. Unfortunately, in this world, in this version of the world, there's just something about eighth house energy that seems to give people permission to be who they really are. It's like we show that they don't have to be ashamed or scared to live their truth or embrace their most authentic selves. That they can and will be accepted and loved, and that there is a safe place for them in this world. And that is transformative, for real. The power of an eighth houser is so potent. It's so profound. It should never be underestimated. And that's also why I say I have little to no tolerance for eighth housers who use that power to take advantage of people or exploit them in any way, because that can mess somebody up for real. But yeah, don't get me wrong now, because while there can be a very romantic quality to it, the intimacy that comes with eighth house synastry is just, it's top tier. But it is not for the faint of heart. Again, there is often some level of obsession and intensity involved, and honestly, even danger, whether it's physical or psychological, whether it's in y'all or it surrounds y'all, it's usually present somehow. Like, it's often some kind of crisis or traumatic event that triggers or brings an eighth houser into someone's life. And I'm going to end this little lecture by using characters and a storyline from the show Shameless as an example. In season one, there's a character named Mandy who's being very subtly subjected to predation from a skeevy, creepy teacher in her classroom. She's a high schooler. And one of the main characters, Ian, is the only one who notices or cares and brings light to it in a very subtle but significant way. It changes the power dynamic with Mandy and the teacher and transforms Mandy's entire experience in the classroom. He gives her the intangible but invaluable thing she needed more than anything, which in that case was protection from a predator. And even just to be seen as someone who was worthy of protection. It's later revealed that Ian is like the only male in Mandy's life who's ever valued her in that way, which makes her instantly attach herself to Ian. That's another thing about eighth house relationships. They can go 0 to 100 real quick. But yeah, Ian is gay and doesn't want to be attached in that way. But she doesn't know that, and she takes it personal and tries to get him jumped and all this. Again, these are the kinds of risks and dangers and threats that eighth housers can get exposed to just by virtue of doing what they're meant to do. Honestly, it's wild. And it would have been a tragedy and a no good deed goes unpunished kind of moment if Ian didn't do what he does next, which is see past her anger and see that this was a result of her insecurities and myriad issues and her inability to see past his surface. So he made himself vulnerable and showed her his true, authentic self. He comes out to Mandy, the first person he comes out to aside from his brother. And just like he saw what she truly needed and gave it to her, he took the leap of faith to show her what he truly needed and she gave it to him. She calls off the attack, and from there, they become lifelong best friends. And they end up protecting each other and saving each other's lives over and over again. It's literally life saving type relationships. Like, I saved you from a life of inauthentic, inauthentic living. You saved me from a life of getting beat up every day. You say, like, it's that sort of thing. They both become even closer to their most authentic selves. And it's a transformative life event for both of them. That is eighth house synastry to a T. I love eighth housers. I love working with eighth housers. If this is you, if you want to talk about it, you need some support in some way, comment, hit the DM, email me, the email in my bio. I would love to work with you however you need to. Ashe.